Holy Spirit, speak through me. Yeah. Hey. Ooh, I wanna be used by you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for checking into my channel. My name is Armando Lopez. I appreciate you guys' time. Today, I'll be doing another oil change. But this one is going to be on my wife's car. She drives a 2014 Lexus IS350. And let's get started. All right. Alright guys, so this is similar to my last video when I did a 2022 model of a Lexus IS350. Yeah, pretty much the same instructions apply. I'm just going to show you the stuff that I use. So here we are. So first, got my 0W20 right here. Full synthetic, takes about 6 quarts. This is a rear wheel. This car is not all-wheel drive. Now this is the 14 millimeter, 10 millimeter for the oil filter cover, and this is the oil filter wrench that you're gonna need. This tool especially if you don't have this, you can't do a full oil change. Here's the oil filter, here's the number for the oil filter, and then you're also gonna need your washer. All right, and then to catch oil, I use this to kind of like help with any spills. You know, you got your fill, and then you got your blue towels, and that's all you're gonna need. Let's get started. Before I get started, before I drain the oil, I take the oil engine off, or oil engine cap, sorry, off. Place it over here, place it on the side, lift up the dipstick, and then boom, let's get started. So this is pretty much like the same engine as the 2022 IS350. The oil pan is literally, let's take you over there. It's right here. This is where the bolt is, and then underneath, this is where the cover is to get to the oil filter. And then it's just 3 bolts this time though. And then, yeah, let's do this. You're either going to need a 10 millimeter or a screwdriver. Either one is fine. Alright. So let me show you where the oil filter is. This is right here. Literally, as soon as you open that cover, you cannot miss it. It's this piece right here, and yeah, you just need that special tool, like I was saying, and then that will allow you to have access to open it, or to take it out and replace it with a new filter. So we'll get started. So now we're done with the oil, the main oil over here. It's dripping. As soon as it starts dripping, that's my indicator. I'm pretty much done. Before I put the new gasket onto, or not the gasket, the washer onto the bolt, you want to make sure that the washer, the old washer, isn't sticking onto the pan. And in this case, it's sticking onto the pan. So before you put on the bolt with the new washer, you always want to make sure that the bolt is right, or the old washer is off. So that way you don't have 2 washers in that bolt, because then it's going to cause a leak and it might not be tight enough on there. So yeah, just keep aware of that. All right, let's get started. Let's take that old one off. I'm just gonna use a flathead. Just be nice and soft, and just go at it. You don't wanna get too crazy with it. There it goes. All right, we did it. Took it off. All right, let's put the new one on. Okay, when I tighten it, I only use 3/4 of my strength. I don't have a torque, but a torque wrench with me, so I just hand tighten it, and like I said, I don't go too crazy with it. Just kind of just enough. Doesn't need a lot of torque. Just enough. That's good enough. That is good enough. Alright, cool. Alright, now on to the next one. So, I'm gonna use my 1/2 inch ratchet. I already have the tool. I put it right onto the grooves, the oil filter removal piece, and pretty much you just want it flush on these points right here, and you'll see. And once it goes right in, you're solid. Alright, solid. And then at this point I just hand screw it off once it's loosened. Just take it. Make sure you're lined up, and then just let it go. You know, I don't pull it all at once. Depending on how hot it is too, I'll just reuse the tool, get onto the grooves again, and so that way I'm not burning my hand. Just letting it out slowly. It's 2014. Is that the filter is actually pretty cool. It's aluminum compared to the 2022 model. It's plastic. Not that there's nothing wrong with it. I'd prefer this, you know, aluminum. Cool. But anyways, here's the new one. Buckle it right in. You know, make sure it fits. Make sure you have this new gasket. You want to replace the old one. And you also want to know too where the old one is placed. That's where you put the new one. So you got to make sure, be aware that it's right there. Squeeze forward, pull right on out. More money. Alright, I'm going to put the new one on. Remember that same spot. You don't want to put it in a different spot. And then just roll it down and you're set. Put it into that spot. Cool. Then we're good. That's it. And then we just put it in there. Clean it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna lube it again. Yeah. It's good. There we have it. New filter. Boom. And go into the oil filter area. Clean in there. You know, you just want to clean out the gunk. And yeah, I'll show you. Okay, that's what it looks like right there. That nice shiner. And you just stick your rag in there. Make sure it's nice and clean. Boom. That's it. The grooves nicely, like butter. Then the rest is solid, because then you can tighten it. Again, I don't have a torque wrench. I just you know, go based off how tight I put it on. So that's the tightest I can do right now with my hand. And then, you know, just grab my special tool, and then my socket wrench and my wrench, and then tighten it, and then you're solid.
You stand up for them, that you would make sure that people aren't talking bad and knocking them down. Protected people not mirror. Isn't that a great description right there? Ownership is so easy to do.
All right.
We justify.
And that's pretty much it. It's already.
It was a good word, and I thought, listen,
All right.
if it's good for me, it might be good.
Let's put this cover back on.
Maybe just pass along to the kids. Protect the people not in the room.
There's two
I would hope the same.
two pieces right here that you slide into the center. Boom, and you're in.
Number 3, torn well.
All right.
Take it all back.
And you don't really need the screws right off the bat. So that's a nice thing when you put it in going forward first. Oil, putting the new oil filter on. We're all set to put more oil on. That's pretty much it. Yeah, let's do this. Alright, that's it. And then pretty much when I'm done with that, I'm gonna take the car off the ramp because so that way I can get a level reading and seeing if it's gonna need a little bit more, because it does take 6 quarts, it says, but when I do reading sometimes it seems like it needs a little bit more. So I just want to make sure that it's right and that it's at the full marker. So what I'm gonna do is put everything back into place, and when the car is lifted and I have it turned on, I'm gonna check underneath, make sure there's no leaks, none of that going on, and then I should be good to go. And yeah, always want to double check your work too. Go if you need to go underneath just to keep a peace of mind and do a third check of the bolt underneath and then the oil filter. There's nothing wrong with that. It's better that you check your work and go through the steps as so that way it's just you're locked in, you didn't do anything wrong, the car should be fine. And over time, the more and more you keep doing this, the more it gets easier. But even I myself, always double checking my work, looking underneath, never going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? This is a car that my wife loves to drive. I love to drive, so I don't want to mess anything up. So I want to always make sure that I'm on top of it. And yeah, everything's good. Make sure that the air filter box is good. Expect the engine if there's any leaks going on that I notice, so that way it doesn't sneak up on me. And that's the cool thing about doing oil changes. You just kind of like check the motor, you look at the motor, even if you don't know what you're looking at. You'll begin to understand as things start to break. You start to get handsy with it. You begin to start to learn about cars. To reset the maintenance oil light, okay, so right with the controls right here, we're gonna go back, we're gonna go all the way to that exclamation point right there, or sorry, settings. We're gonna go all the way down, maintenance systems. Do you want to initialize? We just hit yes. Boom. Once we hit yes, it resets the system, and we're all set to go. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, this car has only deleted mufflers, so if it sounds nice, it's because we deleted the mufflers, and that's all we did. We didn't do no full exhaust. It's just only deleted mufflers, and yeah, I like it. I like the sound. It's Remark, the brand that we used for this exhaust. I was like listening to like all kinds of exhausts on YouTube, which is cool because there's all kinds of different sounds. And Remark was okay. No, it was there was a couple brands, and then I saw Remark, and Remark was like a cheaper brand, and I was like, man, I like the sound of Remark when I would hear it, and it doesn't even compare to like when you hear an audio, it sounds okay, but it sounds better even in person. And yeah, it doesn't, echo in the car. It doesn't vibrate too bad. I got used to the sound. My wife loves it. I mean, we all love it. So, I mean, with this car, it's a 350, like this thing got some pep. So like, for me, the way I see it is like, I know people like to put exhaust on their cars, and to each its own, but this car pushes some power, and I was like, you know what? And I heard, people's exhaust that they put on this car, and it sounds nice. So I was like, you know what? Let me try an exhaust. And if it doesn't sound too annoying and it sounds nice and it matches the way this car drives, I mean, I see why not, It just, it made the driving experience that much more pleasant. I like to drive manual, so like driving this car is a lot of fun. Especially when we added the exhaust. It just made that experience that much more. Even though it's already a great car as is, it just needed, in my opinion, it just needed the sound, because this thing moves. And when we put the sound on it, it was like, yeah, even better. So yeah, if you're someone that's interested in putting an exhaust on your IS350, I would recommend it. That's just me, but to each its own. Not everybody likes the sound. Not everybody likes, maybe it's too drony, and maybe they like that sleek kind of like don't notice me type of thing, because that's what this car is. Like, you don't really realize that this car can go, and if you put an exhaust, obviously you're just calling for attention in a way, because meaning like other people probably want to race you or something. But no, that was never the intent to race or anything. It was just more like, I felt like I wanted to match the car. And when I was shopping around, I'm just grateful that we got the right exhaust, because if it wasn't the right exhaust, we would not have an exhaust. But as soon as we put this thing in, and first time we turned it on, whoa, it sounded nice. I was like, yes. I was like, this is it. And I'm grateful because, people go through exhausts and, they switch out different types because they're, they like certain sounds. But this is money. And that's all I need, And yeah, this car is awesome, guys. If you have ever considered buying an IS350, do some homework, see if you like it. But so far, we bought this car with 68,000 miles. It now has 120. And I haven't done really much besides oil changes, just a basic maintenance, your air filter, your battery, your gas cap over there, your brakes, coolant and the fluid, or putting coolant into the reservoir. This car has just been reliable, and it turns on every time. And for a luxury car, and it's Lexus, they do truly hold their standard very high. And man, it's just like a great car, especially if you're looking for a sports car. And these cars are not too expensive too, especially because there's so many versions of the IS350. I would recommend the 350 because if you're already getting a 6-cylinder and it's the IS250, nothing wrong with the IS250. But if you can get that extra 100 horsepower, why not get the extra horsepower? Especially when the gas MPGs are the same pretty much. That's just the way I saw it. And when we got this opportunity to buy this car, it was at a great price. And we got it, me and my wife. And this is our first sports car. And man, all I would say is great things about it, because this thing, the only dock that it has, in my opinion, is the tire setup. From factory, the back is a little bigger than the front, so you can't rotate these tires. And that's the only complaint I got. Other than that though, you could switch that out, you could fix that. But this car, beautiful, I recommend it. Anybody want IS350, get it, but do your homework. Make sure the owner, whoever had it first, however you buy it, you know, if it's a brand new one, you just gotta steal. But if you can get a used one for half the price and in good condition, yeah, just make sure the engine is good, and obviously the suspension components, all that, and this thing will go. And it's been money. And for a luxury brand, usually you have hesitations, especially because with luxury brands you don't want to go into it. But man, this car, Lexus holds their top notch. Like, there is no maintenance needs to be done besides your regular oil change and all the other things. Like, this thing has been bulletproof so far, and you know, I just got nothing but great things to say. Especially, again, it's just a luxury car, and it's a Lexus. You know, I know it's Toyota, but dang, this thing is sick, you know. And I think it's made in Japan too. And yeah, this is 2014, and man, it's, like I said, it turns on the day the same way we got it the first time. And yeah, me and my wife, especially my wife, she loves driving this thing. I'm just glad that we pulled the trigger and we got this. So yeah, if you're in the market looking for IS350, I'd recommend it, especially if you get a newer one. They're still the same motors. Obviously there's different components that are changed, but I have the first gen of the third or what is this, the third or the second? I'm not sure. Oh, I think it's the third. The first gen of the third, because this is 2014. And then when they came out with the fourth gen, it's I think 2021. I'm not sure, but y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyways, if you get a 2022 model, same engine, pretty much. At least when I did the oil change, I mean, everything was the same. Functionality looks the same. Even when I drove it, I'm not gonna lie, the new one obviously felt nicer because it's just the suspension components, but the way they delivered the power and everything is the same way. But I got no complaints. Wouldn't trade this car in. And this is 2014, so if you get something better, or however you see fit for you and your family, you know, or for you individually, yeah, this is a great car. I wouldn't get the boot or the turbos, any of that. This is a naturally aspirated motor, so anytime you get a naturally aspirated motor, for the most part, they should be pretty good. And this 350 is legit. Alright, enough of me rambling and jambling. Alright guys, until the next one, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.